When you think of Anglo-Saxon kings, you may well think of Alfred the Great, Athelstan, Edward the Confessor, Harold Godwinson, and so on. But in this video, which is a compilation of some of my YouTube shorts that I've put together for ease of access for the viewer, we look at the lives of some of the more forgotten Anglo-Saxon kings. The first king of Wessex was a man named Cerdic, who ruled over the kingdom from 519 to 534. From the Anglo-Saxon chronicles, we can tell that Cerdic spent much of his reign fighting, particularly against the Britons. In the year he succeeded to the kingdom, Cerdic, alongside his son Cynric, fought against the Britons at Cerdixford in modern Salisbury, in their first encounter. 8 years later, Cerdic and his son again engaged the Britons, this time at Cerdixley in Somerset, where again they were victorious. In 530, they captured the Isle of Wight. 4 years later, on the death of Cerdic, Cynric succeeded his father to the throne. Cynric succeeded as King of Wessex in 534 on the death of his father Cerdic, and he reigned for a total of 26 years. His career is most notable for his successes in battle, including defeating the Britons in 552. Unlike later kings, he seems to have been comfortable enough in handing power to other people, including letting two family members rule over the Isle of Wight. That's quite a notable gesture to make, as to relinquish power in those times could be seen to be creating potential rivals for his kingdom. However, Cynric seems to have been confident enough in his own position and trusting of his family members to be able to do that. His reign is largely stable, so it can be seen that Cynric was a strong and capable king. Oswald was King of Northumbria between 634 and 641, or possibly 642. The previous Northumbrian king, Edwin, had been defeated and killed in battle by a rival king called Cadwallon or Cadwalla. Oswald defeated Cadwallon in turn at the Battle of Heavenfield, and he became king of Northumbria. Oswald was a pious man, and he had a bishop named Aidan sent over from Ireland to spread the word of Christianity to those who remained pagan among his subjects. Oswald's reign, though, was comparatively short, and he too was killed in battle at Maserfield on the 5th of August in either 641 or 642. Oswald had been defeated in the battle by King Penda of Mercia, and his body was hacked to bits, but that wasn't the end of his story. At the site of Oswald's death, supposed miracles began to occur, with Bede telling one story of a man riding a horse near the site where Oswald had died. The horse became seriously ill and appeared on the brink of death. However, with the horse in great distress, it conveniently rolled over the precise spot where Oswald had died and made a dramatic recovery. From then on, Oswald would be regarded as a saint. In 617, Northumbria had a new king called Edwin. Edwin was a formidable and forceful king, as he defeated all the other major Anglo-Saxon kingdoms except for Kent. After a failed assassination attempt on him, Edwin retaliated against Wessex, the kingdom he seems to have held responsible. He launched a brutal attack on Wessex and forced them into submission. After being converted to Christianity in 627, Edwin ruled for a further 6 years before he and his heir were killed in battle. Edwin was one of the strongest kings of his age, and an early forerunner to later kings who sought to unify the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. Penda was a pagan king of Mercia in the early to mid-7th century. His reign was a notably long one, possibly as long as nearly 30 years. In 633 he defeated his rival Edwin, king of Northumbria, at the Battle of Hatfield Chase, where Edwin and his son were killed. There is some doubt over when Penda was actually king, though. Bede claims it was only after the defeat of Edwin that Penda came to be king of Mercia. Penda's reign seems to have been one of highs and lows, although he didn't appear to be the most merciful of men. After Hatfield Chase, another of Edwin's sons came to submit to him, but Penda had him executed regardless. His reign was dominated by rivalries with the other Saxon kingdoms. Having laid waste to Northumbria, Penda then drove out the King of Wessex in 645. After Penda's death in 655, Mercia then converted to Christianity. In 757, the most famous of all Anglo-Saxon kings before the time of Alfred the Great, Offa, became King of Mercia. Offa's route to the crown was not straightforward, and he had to fight to win it, but he reigned eventually for nearly 40 years. Offa's main rival was a man named Cynewulf, King of Wessex, whom he engaged in battle in 779. Offa had good diplomatic relations with the King of the Franks, Charlemagne. Offa's main legacy is, of course, Offa's Dyke, which was probably built in the 780s. It is probable, though not absolutely certain, that the dyke was indeed Offa's construction, and it was designed to keep out the Welsh. During the last few years of Offa's reign, a sense of foreboding began to sweep the land, and in 793, the northern island of Lindisfarne was sacked. This was the beginning of the Viking raids. The son of Edward the Elder and grandson of Alfred the Great, Edred ruled from 946 to 955. In 954, Edred finally brought Northumbria under English control, thereby completing the unification of England as a nation. Edred, though, was plagued by ill health, with one chronicler saying he was constantly oppressed by sickness. Edred suffered from digestion problems and was only able to suck the juices out of his food and chew only for a short period of time, which disgusted his rather unsympathetic dinner guests. Edred was, as to be expected, a deeply pious man, and possibly more so because of the personal challenges he faced. His illness would have been restrictive, and he would have had to rely heavily on those around him to help govern. But all the same, Edred's death in 955 was greeted with utmost grief. Edwig is an Anglo-Saxon king you may not have heard of. He reigned between 955 and 959. He is best remembered for an incident that happened at his coronation feast. He had been discovered with two noble women, a mother and a daughter, by the abbot Dunstan. The abbot was unimpressed and separated the trio. The king didn't forget this incident, and he soon banished Dunstan from his kingdom. However, Dunstan and Edwig's reputations after death stand in stark contrast. Dunstan was canonized, and Edwig has long since been forgotten. His reign had proved to be unpopular, and he died at the age of just 19.